People, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Listen, my name is Darnaya, Darice, first name, middle name. Okay, if you're new here, I appreciate you for tuning in as always. As always, you knew, so you don't know. Okay, but now you know. Okay, anyway, so today I'm just quickly gonna go over the last two books that I have read, and it was, oh, actually, yeah, I'm gonna go over two books that I last read. One was at the end of October, and one was my first book of November, which took me 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks to read this book, y'all, and it's because work has been working. Okay, I work from home, and listen, it has been busy, so I haven't had time to read much during the week, and so I have to catch up on reading on the weekends when I do have time or at night sometimes. All right, but the first book that I want to talk about is Where Do We Go From Here? This is by Martin Luther King Jr. I have read this book at the end of October. I didn't do an October wrap up, but I did do a video just talking about where I was and what I plan to do for November. It's like a non-November TBR. We're just gonna read what I feel like reading because I don't have time to read as many books as I've been reading. I've been reading like on average between 6 and 8 throughout the months. My lowest months have been like 4 books, and this month is looking like it's gonna be less than that, but we'll see. Hopefully I can catch up. But if you haven't read this book, I encourage you to read it. It is a nonfiction read. It is one of those books where it may put you in a reading slump, to be honest. You're going to tab. I don't know if you can see these tabs here, but as soon as I started reading, I started tabbing. Now, the way I approach nonfiction reads, when I'm reading something for history, academics, whatever topic is covering science, I do tend to take my time because I may read one chapter or read one paragraph and then I reread it and then I take notes at this while I'm doing that because I don't want to miss anything. These are the type of books where I will will eventually reread because there's so much to capture from it. And I want to say, when approaching our leaders, our ancestors' work, you want to keep in mind that you may not agree with everything, but you want to see where their insight, where their perspective was at the time, right? Because their perspectives change from young to old. Even Martin had began to evolve in the later years. In that last year of his life, he was kind of fed up, right? He was kind of fed up with things, and he was really starting to press and put the feet to the pedal, like, okay, we really need to get out here and do something. Now, if you have followed Martin's life, you know that his personal life may, he was human. He was doing things, right? But he had some good insight in this book. I did enjoy this read. I didn't agree with everything, but I did enjoy this read. My favorite chapter in this book was a chapter called Black Power. And in that book, he talks about the different perspectives from our other leaders were at the time and where he was. He was still on the sense of nonviolence, and not nonviolence in the sense like don't fight back per se, like if someone is hitting you, don't hit them back. That's not what he's saying. His approach, he tried to really expound on the fact that, hey, when we should do protests, and we should leave these protests not coming in with rioting or not coming in with looking to be violent, and still be open for any and everybody to come, no matter what culture or what background they have. And we don't want to entice that hindrance of fear or that hindrance of like, oh no, you're not accepted to come in and protest with us. And then you had others. He mentioned Stokely in this. Love Stokely, aka Kwame Ture. If you don't know Stokely Carmichael, please go look him up. Also, he mentions James Meredith, who I saw was still alive at the time. I gotta see and make sure he's still literally right now, but he lived a good amount of life, and he was still in, I want to say he was in the Memphis area, but I didn't know he was still living that time. And a lot of, mentions are people who, some of these people are still living today who walk this walk. But in the Black Power is very funny because that instance, if we ever get in a room where it's just us to talk about, okay, what's our next steps, what's our next move, is not gonna be how he necessarily described it, because he does promote or suggest that, hey, when we're doing these processes, when we're walking the walk, talking the talk, when we're trying to fight against injustice, we may have to take a beating, we may have to get bust upside the head in order to get change. And I'm like, no, sir. Okay, no, we're not. We don't have to do that, okay? We don't have to take a beating in order to get change. We need to find some better in other ways. And I think that's the approach where you had differences between SNCC and SCLC, which he talks about in here, and the approaches there, and why some suggested, hey, let's take it this way instead of thinking it like we should be, no, we need to take a stance and show that we take a stance. And so he talks about the slogan. He felt like, hey, Black Power shouldn't just be a slogan. It should be something we actually put into action. We should organize. And so this is a very good read. Let me see here. One of the quotes that I did love that he mentions here, he talks about how the line of progress is never straight, and that's on page 12. I tabbed that here. That's one of the things that I love, because that's a takeaway you can take away from life now. The line to progress or success is never straight. And so if you're looking, if you're like me, I tend to be very self-critical, and that helps me sometimes, and sometimes that stops me from doing something or stalls me for a good while. Like last year, in 2024, I was doing some videos, but then I stopped, and then I get ahead of, in my head, or like, I want perfection, or I want to look this way, I want to be this way. And, it halts me from doing things, and that's just in any movement of life. But I'm also flexible and adaptable and okay with change, and so I can get better in that way as well. But I also can be very self-critical, and so understanding that the line to progress or moving forward is never straight. Sometimes you're going to have detours, and sometimes those detours are caused by your behavior or the actions or decisions you made that wasn't such a great decision. And sometimes it's decisions or things that are happening in life, with life around you, that you are necessarily out of control of, and so you have to kind of go with the flow. And so I do love that there's some pointers in here of life that suggest that you can apply them today in modern time in any aspect or field that you're looking to apply it to. So this is definitely a must read if you're a homeschool parent, or if you're a private school parent, or if you're a teacher. I would suggest to add this into the curriculum. And yeah, also on the reading list. Okay, now the book I first read for November that I just finished, okay, this is November 16th that I'm taping this. Okay, we took 2 weeks to read Shanora Williams, okay, The Wife Before. This is a thriller. Now sometimes I get in this kink I get in this kick where I like, okay, I want to read some romance, I want to read some fiction, and then it's like, no, I need nonfiction. I'm one that I cannot just read a whole bunch of fiction and silliness or nonsense. Like, I gotta mix in. I also have academic reading down there. I have textbooks that I keep, like college textbooks, and I put myself on a self-course track and things like that. And so I have to mix it in, or else I don't really feel fulfilled in my reading and knowledge obtaining. But this one is more so, this thriller, I'm gonna give you the pros and cons. Okay, so the pros: this book reminds me of Frida McFadden style. So it is short chapters, quick to read, easy to grasp. Okay, you don't have to put a lot of thought in this reading. You can read it fast, you can read it with audio and be done with it. What I will say, it's not one of those books where you like, oh, I got something I got a nugget out of here. You know how Kennedy Ryan's books, she writes romance, but she gives you some type of nuggets. Whether you agree or disagree with the overall story, the characters, you're going to get some point out of her book. This one, not so much like the female characters that are written here. You're like, is this a YA? Okay, I need some more stability. I need you to make sense. I need you to have better judgment. You know, so if you're looking for that thriller that it has a grander point, or it is kind of, you're looking to be fulfilled in some way deep, this is not the one for you. But if you're like Frida fan, if you're the one who uses like Frida McFadden for filler reads, you know, you're in a reading slump, this can get you out of it. I will say that I did like how she redeemed the main male character, because the main male character in this book, his name was Roland. He was a golfer, and so I did like she made the profession of the black male characters something, you know, a little something not usually seen in a lot of books that I've read so far. That he was a well-known golf player, but he was assumed to have conducted an act against his wife, and you go through these stories of his past wife and his current wife, and hence the wife before. Okay, but I love how he gets redeemed, because he's thought and seen one way, and then he ends up being sort of another way. Some points are valid, and then some points, you know, it's like, no, he's not who we thought he was. And so I did love how that this book carried that point in there. And so overall, this is not a must read. I will give it a 3. It's teetering 2.75 to a 3, but it's one of those books, if you just need something quick, just fun, and you're like, what why are you doing that, what are you doing, girl, you know, pick up this book. All right, and I don't want to keep you long. I'm already at 12 minutes, and so I'm going to stay true this time. The next book that I plan to read, I hope to start this today, is Allegedly. Okay, we're matching. Okay, how about it? All right, and so I hope to start this today. I've heard Tiffany D. Jackson, this book, I seen Lex Reads already started. I was supposed to read this last month, but I didn't get to it, and so that's why I want to read it. And it's just under, it's about 381 or so pages. It's not too long, not too bad. You can come in, boo. And so, yeah, so this is my next read, so let's hope we can get to it. Let me know in the comments, what are you currently reading? What did you read last month that you absolutely enjoy? I've seen videos where people are doing their 10 before 10. What's on your 10 before, or 10 before the end? I said 10 before 10, not 10 before 10. Okay, but 10 before the end. What is on your list for that, if you have one? And yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Don't forget to leave your purple hearts in the chat. And until next time, always remember to keep rising.